I never expected my 30th birthday to end at a homeless shelter, watching my family's Mercedes disappear around the corner. The shelter worker, Sarah, looked at my designer clothes with confusion as she led me inside. Your family, they just left you here? She asked hesitantly. Apparently, I'm not their problem anymore, I replied calmly, remembering Mom's cold words. My crime? Refusing to marry the son of Dad's business partner, a merger arrangement disguised as a marriage proposal. The day had started with what I thought was a birthday lunch. Mom had insisted on hosting it at their country club, where appearances meant everything. I should have known something was wrong when I saw Mr. Chen and his son James there too. Sweetheart, we have wonderful news, Mom had announced, her perfect smile not quite reaching her eyes. James has asked for your hand in marriage. The Chen family's real estate empire and our development company, it's a perfect match. When I politely declined, stating I wasn't interested in an arranged marriage, the facade cracked. Dad's face turned red, his whispered words sharp as knives. This isn't a request. The Chen merger depends on this marriage. Your trust fund, your position in the company, your inheritance, everything depends on you saying yes. I remembered looking around the table, Mom's tight smile, James's entitled smirk, Mr. Chen's calculating gaze. My answer remained the same, no. What followed was a carefully orchestrated humiliation. Dad publicly announced I was cut off, mentally unstable, and no longer part of the family. Mom made a show of crying about her ungrateful daughter as security escorted me out. But they didn't stop there. They had already packed my apartment, canceled my cards, and arranged for a driver to help me move. Their final act of cruelty was instructing him to drop me at the city's largest homeless shelter. What they didn't know was that I had been preparing for this day for years. While they thought I was just their obedient daughter working in the family business, I had been quietly building my own empire. Sarah at the shelter was still talking, offering me a bed and basic necessities. I smiled, pulled out my phone, and made a call. Marcus, yes, it's time. Activate everything we discussed. And please send a car to the downtown Haven shelter. I turned to Sarah. I'll be leaving in a few minutes, but I'd like to make a substantial donation to your facility. Her eyes widened as I added several zeros to the check I wrote. Miss Thompson, this is more than our annual budget. I nodded. Consider it the first installment. My foundation will be in touch about a complete renovation and expansion program. The sleek black Bentley that arrived minutes later caused quite a stir. My driver Marcus had been with me since I started buying properties 6 years ago. He knew exactly what today meant. Everything is ready at the penthouse, Miss Thompson. The lawyers have activated all the holding companies, and the mayor is expecting your call. I smiled, remembering how my family had never questioned why I worked such long hours in the property division. They assumed I was trying to prove myself worthy of the family business. In reality, I was learning every detail about their real estate holdings, their weaknesses, and their vulnerabilities. While they focused on their precious downtown development projects, I had systematically acquired properties through various shell companies. Small buildings at first, then entire blocks, always staying under their radar. They were so convinced of their own importance that they never noticed the new players slowly taking over their territory. Now I owned more prime real estate in the city than they did. The mayor's office, their precious country club, even their corporate headquarters, all quietly purchased through my holding companies over the years. Marcus handed me a tablet displaying live security feeds. Mom and Dad were still at the country club, probably crafting the society page story about their unstable daughter. They had no idea that in less than 48 hours, their entire world would implode. Should I initiate Protocol 1? Marcus asked, referring to our prepared response. I checked my watch. The mayor would be making his afternoon calls soon, following the script we had carefully prepared. Mom and Dad's phones would start ringing with some very interesting news about their landlord. Yes, I replied, settling into the Bentley's leather seats. It's time they learned who really owns their precious city. The car pulled away from the shelter, and I watched my family's carefully constructed illusions begin to crumble. They thought dropping me at a homeless shelter would break me. Instead, they had just activated their own downfall. My phone buzzed with messages from various board members and business associates, all following the carefully orchestrated revelation of my true position. Years of quiet power accumulation were about to pay off. I turned to Marcus. Make sure the security team is ready. Once the mayor makes that call, my family will probably try to reach me. He nodded. All protocols are in place, Miss Thompson. No one enters the penthouse without your explicit approval. As we drove through downtown, I looked at the buildings I owned, the ones my family had no idea were mine. The Thompson Development logo, still proudly displayed on many of them, would be changed soon enough. The first part of my response was about to begin, and I had the perfect view from my penthouse to watch it unfold. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about causing pain, it's about showing people exactly what they've lost. My phone buzzed again. The mayor's office was calling right on schedule. It was time for my family to learn who really controlled their fate. From my penthouse office, I watched the city light up as evening approached. The mayor's call had gone exactly as planned. My security team reported that Dad's Mercedes had been speeding through downtown for the past hour, presumably trying to verify what he'd just learned. The mayor's words had been clear. Mr. Thompson, I thought you knew. Your daughter owns most of downtown now, including your headquarters. She's requesting a meeting about the new development projects. I pulled up the security feed from their house. Mom was frantically making calls, her perfectly manicured nails trembling as she dialed number after number. Each call confirmed the same truth. Her daughter wasn't just independent, she was their landlord. My phone had 47 missed calls from family members. The text messages ranged from threats to desperate pleas. Dad, this is impossible. What have you done? Mom, sweetie, please call us. We need to talk. Brother, you can't do this to the family. I smiled, remembering how they'd watched me walk into that homeless shelter just hours ago. Amazing how quickly attitudes change when power shifts. Marcus entered with a stack of documents. The lawyers have prepared everything. Would you like to review the new lease terms? I nodded, examining the papers. The new terms were fair but firm. Significantly higher rent for all Thompson Development properties, strict compliance requirements, and most importantly, no special favors or family discounts. A commotion in the lobby caught my attention on the security feed. Dad had arrived, demanding to see me. The security team was handling it exactly as instructed, polite but immovable. I'm sorry, Mr. Thompson, but you'll need an appointment. Miss Thompson's office will contact you to schedule a meeting. I watched him turn red, the same color he'd been at lunch when I refused the arranged marriage. I'm her father. I demand to see her now. The head of security remained professional. Sir, if you continue to make a scene, we'll have to escort you out of the building, the one you no longer own. That last part was a little petty, but I allowed it. Sometimes small satisfactions are worth it. My phone buzzed with a message from Mr. Chen. We should discuss this situation. Perhaps we can reach a new arrangement. I archived it without responding. The Chen family would learn soon enough that their attempted merger was now impossible. I owned too many key properties they needed. Marcus cleared his throat. The press release is ready for tomorrow morning. The business papers will announce the new ownership structure of downtown properties. Your family's company stock is already dropping on the rumors. I looked at the draft headline. Silent power player reveals downtown empire. Thompson Air controls major properties. The article detailed how a young executive had quietly built a real estate empire under everyone's noses. It mentioned my background in property development, but focused on my independent success. Not once did it mention my family's attempt to force an arranged marriage, or their actions today. Sometimes silence speaks louder than accusations. My assistant entered with more updates. The country club board is requesting an urgent meeting. They're concerned about the ownership change. Also, your mother's social committee is in chaos. Apparently, they just realized their annual charity gala venue is now yours. I allowed myself a small smile. The social humiliation would hurt Mom more than any financial loss. Her carefully cultivated position in society depended on controlling these venues and events. Schedule the club meeting for next week, I replied, and inform the charity committee that all previously approved events will need new venue contracts. Standard rates apply. The sun had fully set now, the city lights creating a glittering backdrop to my victory. In the reflection of the window, I saw not the family failure they'd labeled me, but the power player I'd become. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Sarah at the shelter. The contractors arrived to discuss the renovation. Thank you for changing lives here. That, more than anything else, made me smile. True power isn't in revenge, but in choosing how to use your influence. I turned to Marcus. Prepare the conference room for tomorrow. It's time to show this city what real leadership looks like. The security feed showed Dad's car finally leaving the building. He'd learned soon enough. Sometimes the people you underestimate the most become the ones who control your fate. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but for now I savored the quiet satisfaction of knowing that my family's attempt to break me had only revealed their own weakness. Sometimes the best response to cruelty is success. The next morning, my family's world imploded spectacularly. The business headlines were brutal in their simplicity. Thompson Empire's new queen. Daughter controls $4.20 billion in downtown assets. I watched from my office as reporters swarmed our corporate headquarters. Dad's attempt to enter the building was caught on camera, creating the perfect media circus. Security politely but firmly directed him to the visitor's entrance, where he had to sign in like any other guest. The look on his face was priceless. My phone lit up with a message from James Chen. My father is furious. Our merger plans are ruined. Perhaps we could discuss this over dinner. I forwarded the message to my legal team with one word: document. His pursuit had shifted from entitled arrogance to desperate damage control. The Chen family's expansion plans required properties I now controlled. My assistant entered with the morning briefing. Your mother is in the lobby of her country club, the one you now own. She's creating quite a scene about her lifetime membership. I pulled up the security feed. Mom was waving her gold member card, her voice rising as the manager explained that all memberships were under review by the new owner. I founded half the committees in this club, she exclaimed. Do you know who I am? The manager remained professional. Yes, Mrs. Thompson, you're the mother of our owner. Would you like to schedule an appointment to discuss your membership? I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Marcus entered with more updates. The family's corporate board is requesting an emergency meeting. They've realized that without access to the properties you control, their development plans are impossible. I nodded, checking the time. Schedule it for next week. Let them sweat. The morning news shows were having a field day with the story. Financial prodigy outmaneuvers family empire, read one headline. Another declared, real estate's new power players the Harris. They didn't see coming. None mentioned the homeless shelter incident. I'd made sure that details stayed private, though the shelter's sudden massive renovation funding was raising eyebrows. My brother was the next to crack. His text was desperate. Sis, please. My entire department's budget depends on the downtown projects. We need to talk. I remembered how he'd stood silently watching them pack my things, not once speaking up. Now he needed something. Funny how that works. The conference room was prepared for my first official board meeting as the revealed owner. The stack of documents before me represented years of careful planning, property acquisitions, strategic investments, and now complete control. Sarah from the shelter called with an update. The contractors are amazing. They say the new facilities will be ready in months, not years. You've given so many people hope. That call centered me, reminding me why I'd worked so hard. Power wasn't just about control, it was about impact. My phone buzzed again. Dad's name appeared. The board is in chaos. You've destroyed everything we built. Was this your plan all along? I finally responded, my first direct communication since the shelter. No, Dad, you taught me well. Family business is only for real family. I just built my own. The response was immediate. We are your real family. I left it on read. Marcus appeared with another update. The Chen Corporation is attempting to salvage their position. They're offering to buy several key properties at triple market value. Decline, I replied. Some things aren't for sale. The afternoon brought more revelations as the full scope of my ownership became clear. The Thompson family's social and business circles were imploding as people realized where the true power lay. My assistant entered one last time. Your father's assistant called. He's requesting a formal meeting. As a tenant, I allowed myself a small smile. Schedule it for next week. Standard business hours only. Looking out over the city, my city now, I felt no triumph, no desire to gloat. Success wasn't about revenge. It was about proving them wrong about who I was. They thought dropping me at a homeless shelter would break me. Instead, it had revealed their true character and my true strength. Tomorrow I would begin implementing changes, better housing initiatives, community development projects, real improvements for the city. But today I savored the quiet satisfaction of knowing that sometimes the best response to cruelty is simply rising above it. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Mom. We should have seen who you really were. Yes, I thought. You should have.